In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a linear regression in a TI-84 calculator. Now, the purpose of a linear regression is actually to show a line of best fit. So before I get into that, let me just remind you what a line of best fit is. In a scatter plot, you have, you might have just scattered points. And they might follow a general trend, like this shows a positive correlation. Or it might have a negative trend, negative correlation. So what a best fit line or a line of best fit does is it makes a line, gives an equation for a line that best follows the pattern. Might not hit all the points, but it's kind of in between. It's still a good equation to use to make predictions with. And what a linear regression does is it actually uses the calculator to give you an equation for the best fit line. So let's take a sample problem. We have a table that shows the number of people and the number of suitcases on 6 different airplanes. And we want to write an equation that best represents the situation so we can use it to make predictions. So maybe an airline needs to make sure that they've got enough room for the suitcases on the plane, something like that. Well, when you go to do a linear regression, the first thing you do is you have to enter your data. And the steps to do that is you go into Stat and then go use the right arrow key to the Edit menu. In the Edit menu, you're going to see a table where you can put in your variables. And it'll be labeled L1, L2. L1 are your X's, L2 is your Y's. Once you've entered the data, you're going to do your linear regression. And the way you do that is you go back into Stat, and you're going to hit the right arrow key over to Calc. In the Calc menu, number 4 is going to say len reg with parentheses ax plus b. Once you hit number 4, you're going to have to hit enter a few times until it gives you the equation. So let's go ahead and do a linear regression for the sample problem I've given you. Alright, so here's my TI-84 calculator, and I'll go all the way to the beginning. You want to hit the Stat button first, and then right there number 1 says Edit, so you just hit enter. Now L1 are your X values, and in this problem the X values, the independent variable, is the number of people. Most tables are set up your X then your Y. So in this one, the number of people, P, is our X value. So 63, 115, 153, 192, 224, and 297 are the X values. Make sure that you don't make any typos when you're doing this. It's really easy to get a wrong equation if you make a typo. So be careful on that. Now on the Y values, I have 112. That is kind of not clear, but that is a 9, 209. Then 278, 302, 379, and 500. Once you have your numbers entered into L1 and L2, you go back to Stat, then you hit a right arrow key to the Calc menu. And if you look, number 4 says, oops, too far. Number 4 says linear, or len reg, it stands for linear regression, and it's got the point slope-intercept form of the equation. Now when you're on this screen, you're going to have to hit enter a few times. This lets you select what list. Most of the time it's just going to be L1 and L2. You just kind of hit enter, until it gives you this. Now, ax plus b, and then it gives you the a and b values. Well, what you have to do is you have to actually write it out. You're not going to leave it. You're not going to write ax plus b, a equals, and then b equals. No, you're going to actually plug in your numbers. Depending on who you ask, maybe your teacher wants you to round to a certain decimal place. I'm going to round to the hundredths place. So my a value is 1.62, and my b value is 15.36. Now technically we didn't use x and y in our table, so technically this should be s equals 1.62p, number of people, affects your number of suitcases, plus 15.36. And that's how you do a linear regression. Now let's say you needed to clear your calculator for another list. If you go back into Stat and Edit, if you highlight L1 and L2, hit clear, not delete. Delete actually deletes the whole list itself. It'll get rid of L1 completely. If you hit clear, it just empties the list. And highlight L2, clear, enter, and now you're ready for the next one.